What is up, everybody? Thank you so much for jumping on. Yes, I am here by myself, Fernando Ramirez, but Dan and Dago is on his way from football practice. But I am not alone, though, because I have a very special guest. He just came onto the Chargers beat last September, works for ESPN. He's a good friend. Let's welcome in Kris Rhim from ESPN. Kris, how you doing?
Good, man. Glad to be here. Glad we finally got on.
I know we had been talking about it. We'd been flirting with it, and finally we were able to make this happen. But man, just what? How is this off season been treating you so far?
Oh, it's been good, man. I mean, for me, I've just been, hanging out, trying to keep up with the news like everybody else and playing some Madden, relaxing where I
Are you
can.
good? Are you good?
I'm solid. I'm solid. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
I'm crazy, but I'm
You go
solid.
online and stuff. Have you played Sketch yet?
Nah, what is sketch?
Oh, it's some Madden streamer, I guess, that's like really famous. I don't know if you play online or not.
Nah, I do. Well, yeah, but I mainly I have a league. It's like 16 of my friends, basically.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Journalism, college, high
Yeah,
school.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. No.
Right.
No, everybody, I mean, everybody likes you, but I just wanted to give you a little sense of how all this goes. I mean, it's a chill show, relax, you can have fun, you can talk shit, you can do whatever you want, bro. So just but again, thank you so much for jumping on it. And just right off the bat, just like I said, you've only you got here September of last
Yeah.
season. What has kind of been your first impression so far? I mean, throughout the season and obviously up to this point.
Yeah, I mean, the Chargers are different from a lot of the teams I've been around. Well, I guess they're similar to the Falcons. I used to work in Atlanta, work for the Falcons, covering them. They're kind of similar in that they're a team that is in a market that isn't super like excited about them. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Like in Atlanta, there was like Braves, there was like college football. Georgia was winning. Then there was like Atlanta United. In LA, it's like everything, and then you had the Chargers, and then Harbaugh kind of changed that. Like it felt like people are now in LA excited about the team and him and what he'll do. So I feel like in however many months it's been since September, I feel it feels different for sure than when I
Yeah.
first got here.
Yeah, no, completely agree. Jorge, I said only Kris can talk shit. You can't talk it, so get out of here with that. But if you guys have any questions for Kris, make sure you guys throw them in. Kris will answer them. But Kris, and you said you've been around. I want a little bit more to get to know you, and then we'll talk some Chargers. But you've been around the Ravens. I remember you wrote a really good piece about the Ravens at one point having 4 black quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Just what was it like? I know you weren't there very long, but what was it like covering the Ravens?
Yeah, covering the Ravens was cool and helpful, I guess, now that Harbaugh's here and Ortiz is here and Gus
Oh yeah,
Edwards and everybody from the Ravens is
so
here
you kind of started the movement, I guess.
pretty much. But yeah, I mean, it was the thing about covering the Ravens is that it felt like you were covering like this thing with a bunch of history that really every day you're going into like this fortress that people always say what it means to be a Raven and talk about Ozzie Newsome like the Godfather and how they have this tradition of what it means to play here and what it means to be a linebacker here or to be a running back here or a defensive back here or a safety here and that's what it was like there. Like it was very much and even when I was at the New York Times going to different teams throughout the year and covering different places, you get that sense from like when you go to the 49ers or when you go to like a Green Bay or a Dallas, like those organizations with a lot of history. So that's what it was like. It was cool and, fun city, fun team. So yeah, it was fun.
What was it like to be around John?
It was good. He's different from Jim for sure, like completely different. He's more. They're both pretty like feel like your dad, but he was like different kind of dad, if that makes sense. He was is that me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, hold on.
No, you're good.
Sorry, y'all. Hold on. Sorry about that.
I honestly thought I was starting to look up and I'm like, who's calling me?
Yeah, I have do not disturb on. Sorry about that, y'all.
No. You're good. You're good. You're good. Jorge, are you okay?
but yeah, so yeah, Harbaugh was cool, man. He started his press conferences always with like this opening statement that I always found kind of funny. It was like typically unnecessary, but it was just like an example of like him he's just like some dad stuff. Like, he would say, "So, what questions do you have?" And he would do it every time. But yeah, so he was cool. He was good. Seemed like a good dude. I only was there for like 2 months, but
yeah. Do you feel? I mean, so far, I've only been in 2 or 3 of the press conferences with Jim, but it feels like he does pull some like Harbaughism. Sometimes he will say stuff. Did you kind of get that from John as well? Or just different?
Yeah, he doesn't really have those isms. He doesn't say all the stuff their father said to them. He doesn't have these kind of like he'll have like Jim has one. He'll be talking about something or he'll be asked about something and he'll just go somewhere else. Like John doesn't really do that. So like if you ask him something, he typically just tell you the answer or he'll dance around it like any normal coach. Whereas Jim is like start talking about childbirth mid response or something. Like you never know what you're gonna get. So like, yeah, they're very different.
Okay, yeah, no, I completely get that. Just what if you were, I mean, obviously being around last year and the firing happens. We were there in Las Vegas when they just completely had the debacle 63-21. Brandon and Tom Telesco are fired the next day. Just right around that time, what were you what did you kind of think was gonna be? Did you feel like it was gonna be basically Harbaugh or bust, or did you feel like they may go a different way?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I just got here, but I'd obviously before I got on the beat studied the history of the team and what they've done in the past. So I think in my mind it was always I always thought it was going to be Harbaugh, but at the same time, I think like many Chargers fans looking at their past, you might also think it's also the Chargers. So they might find some way to, maybe hire someone who no one expected. And the thing about coaching hires too is like even if they hired someone you don't expect, that person might have been a great coach. So it's hard to like bash a hire immediately when it happens. But I was kind of envisioning that like they maybe hire someone else and they get killed by the fans and maybe they turn out to be a solid coach or whatever. But all that to say, I really wasn't sure. Like, they're both. I was kind of torn. Like, it has to be Harbaugh, but then it's also the Chargers. So
Yeah,
who knows?
yeah, no, I completely understand.
Yeah.
God, Jorge, you're terrible. Brandon's the GOAT. He gave us Jim Harbaugh. You're the worst. So obviously, they hired Jim Harbaugh. Just so far, what's been your biggest takeaway from him?
Yeah, he's funny. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but he's goofy and he really cares about football. Obviously, it seems like the only thing that he cares about. And I mean, I guess you hear a bunch of stuff about people when they come, like especially a coach like Jim Harbaugh. Like you hear all this stuff about who he is and who will be. And so far, you can kind of see just in his press conferences why people would like to play for him or why people go to war for him, because he speaks with like a conviction and he also has this quirky side and this personable side to where you have the respect for him as a coach, but he also feels like personable and approachable. Like he's one of the guys, but I still respect him in a way that I want to follow him as like my leader, which is why he played quarterback for 16 years, right? So I think that's what I've gotten so far. But again, everything is good in April. Everything is good in April because I'm pretty sure when I look back when they hired Brandon Staley, everything was positive this time of year, and he was the guy who broke down questions and detailed answers and gave reporters information. And then years later, we see how that goes. So everything is always going to be good this time of year, no matter who it is.
Kris Rhim comparing Brandon Staley to Jim Harbaugh. Interesting stuff right there. No, I'm just messing with you. Hey, it's a joke, people. Jesus, come on. We're here having fun. Kris, just and you can be honest about this one with me, but I thought it was going to be Keenan Allen and Khalil Mack. It ends up being Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa that day, and it's Keenan Allen and Mike Williams gone. That surprised you a little bit?
Yeah, it definitely surprised me. I would say I thought when people ask me, I would always say Keenan's back for sure. I don't know about anybody else. Like I always thought when people say Keenan's getting traded, I'd be like, no, he's not. Like I'd be like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then it happened. So I was shocked by Keenan for sure. The others didn't really shock me that much. But Keenan shocked me just because the guy wanted to be here. He kept saying he wanted to be here. He had his best year. But I also get the Chargers side. I think both sides, you could see why they made the decision, right? Now, should people be upset? I think people have a right to be upset, to a player that they're attached to. But if you win, people will get over it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I still remember when we were standing there with him in January, and he's like, if I don't go to where I want to go, adios, amigo. So
I'm retiring.
Yeah, and it seems like the Chargers worked with him to kind of find a place where he would want to go. I mean, I saw him there at Caleb Williams Pro Day, and he seemed upbeat about the possibility of Caleb going there. So, I mean, obviously, it is what it is at this point. But Athir, yes, you can ask a question to Kris if it's relatable and not somewhere else. But no, it's because sometimes we get some random stuff in here. But Kris, when you think of what these guys are obviously building, okay, I'll ask him this. Athir is wondering if you see Joe Alt at the 5th pick.
Do you see Alt as the pick at 5? Yes, but no. I mean, I think it's we're at a weird time, man. We're in a weird time where
weirdo time. That's what I call it, Kris. Weirdo time.
Yeah, it's like no one, everyone's speculating and speculating. I'm not going to act like I have information on what the Chargers are thinking because no one does. They're not going to tell anybody what they're thinking at 5.
Just text it to me, Kris.
because if I had it, I would have reported it, right? So what I'm telling you is just because like an estimated guess, right? It's the same kind of thing you could do. What I think the most likely scenario, because I think everyone's kind of looking at trade, wide receiver, tackle. I think if I was ranking those scenarios just to kind of answer your question, I would imagine trade, wide receiver, tackle. If you trade, you could potentially do both in the first round, right? With like if you trade with Minnesota. So that's why that option makes the most sense to me. Because if you want to tackle, if you want a receiver, you can get 2 really good ones if you get 2 picks from the Vikings and maybe get another one later. So that's what I would say to your alt question. I don't know, but I can see them trading and getting a receiver and a tackle.
So Jorge then met your I don't know and he doubled down. He's like, well, what do you think? Heart of hearts. What do you think? There you go.
If they stay at that one. Yeah, if they stay at 5, I think they trade. But if they keep 5, I would say heart of hearts, go Neighbors. Heart of hearts.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think?
So okay, Peter Schrager is usually the one that is right there with it, and he thinks that Arizona is going to trade out, which I've been telling Gilbert, my co-host of Compas on the Beat. I've been telling him I think they're going to trade. I think Arizona knows that they have a lot of different needs, and if they trade down, they could do a lot of stuff with it. If Marvin Harrison Jr. is sitting right there, I mean, it's going to be hard not to take him.
Oh yeah, for sure. And
especially because, and this is my point, Kris. When Jim was at Michigan these last 2 years, they beat Ohio State, but Marvin Harrison Jr. gave him that work.
Yep.
So he knows the talent that's there. He knows what Marvin is, and I think it'd be very hard for him to be able to pass it up, especially if Minnesota has already given up the 11th and the 23rd, because that to me is the best kind of trade right now. Is the 11th and 23rd, because right away you get potentially, like you said, a right tackle, unless Brock Bowers falls to that 11th pick, then it's like, oh crap, maybe we should take him. But I kind of would think that if they did trade down with the 11th and 23rd, I think they might go tackle and corner, to be honest.
That's true. You could definitely make it. I was thinking that in my head too, because you could definitely get a corner.
And you know what? And it's just because of this aspect of, I think they want to win with their defense and the run game. And yeah, Herbert is obviously generational talent and everything, but they want to make the way I've heard the coaches speak, they want to make life easy for him. Essentially he's had a hard life, a hard NFL life so far.
Right.
I mean, today I think I wrote he's been hit 250 times, and he's been sacked 130.
Wow.
in 5 years. So it's like, okay, let's make life easier on them. Let's build that offensive line and the cornerbacks. I'm not going to take a shot at. I'm just saying you need cornerbacks that can tackle,
Right.
and he wants cornerbacks that are going to get in there and they're going to do different things. So I just think cornerback is a huge need for this team. But if you're going to ask me, I think they do get at 5. I think they go. They get Marvin. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. might be sitting right there for him, but trading out just seems like the way to go, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but let's see. James says, "Bolt up, guys! So hyped for the draft. The identity of the Harbaugh Superchargers will start." Okay. Jorge wants them to trade down, so he's a trade down kind of guy. But he said he wouldn't be mad if it was Neighbors or Harrison. Okay, see, this is a question I've been getting a lot as well. Athir is asking if the Broncos try and jump up to 5. What? Okay, just independently out of this stuff, but what do you think about in-division trades? What's kind of your thought process on that?
I don't think about them too much, to be honest, unless
it's a good pick, right?
Yeah. Also, it's like if I'm trading you a star right now, then I think about it more.
Yeah.
If
it's Surtain to the Chargers, then hell yeah. You're like, here you go. Give us the 12th pick and give us Surtain, and we'll give you that 5th pick.
Right. And it's like if you're.
But you'd have to be stupid if you're Sean. Okay, my bad. You'd have to be not smart if you're Sean Payton to do that, because
exactly.
You're basically handing it to them.
Exactly, and you got to see them twice a year. Like that's when you're like, I don't know. So yeah, I don't really think about it when it's like a pick swap or something like that. Think about like the division that I'm trading with. Maybe I think typically, in my opinion, I would consider more. Is this team? Am I about to trade something to this team that's going to put them over the top? Like if the Chiefs call me, I'm probably just not picking up the phone. You know, like
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm just suspicious. Like I'm not doing anything with you. You know what I mean? Because it's going to come back to bite me in some way. Like so that's more of how I think about it. Like
I completely agree. Jorge Surtain is the same draft class as Slater, so this is the last year of his rookie deal. I think he has the 5th year option though. That they can, oh wow, he likes your thinking, so there you go. So Josue has a question: why do mock drafts not realize that they can take a tackle in the other rounds? Pipkins is solid and makes $9 million already. I think it's because, and just to be honest, Chris, this has been Pipkins up and down. It hasn't been a legit like, oh yeah, he should be the starter. I thought he played better when he had that meniscus injury than he did the last year or previous years. I know he's had a lot of offensive line coaches, but you just need to see the consistency there. And I think people are thinking that Harbaugh's going to – because remember, at first, people were saying, well, Harbaugh mentioned Keenan during the press conference, and he mentioned Pipkins, and he mentioned all the – well, Keenan's now gone, so it doesn't matter if he did or not. But I definitely think that I definitely think that that's the thing. He's not Rashawn Slater, not a slam dunk starting left tackle. Exactly. I think that's kind of the thinking there, if I'm not mistaken, Chris.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think the same thing, right? It's like it's more of like if you can get a bookend guy, like if you have bookend, tackles, that's kind of what you want, right? So I think that's why people are saying that, Josue, like if you can get a guy in the first round that you feel great about, you got to get him versus like getting a guy later who will just be Pipkins, right? Who we think is a a solid guy who kind of fluctuates between. He's just inconsistent. Like he's not a bad player. He's just an inconsistent player. But if you can get a guy you feel really great about in the first, which the draft experts believe there are a few of, I think that's why people have them taking it. And then there's also the Harbaugh impact. People seem to think that and there's a reason to think that, but that Jim really wants to build out this whole line, and he's talked about that. But I think be careful of reading into that to believe that he wants to go ahead and take a tackle, right? So there's some of that too playing into like what you see from mocks.
And that's the thing, Chris, is that, and I said this earlier, I'm like, right now, like Harbaugh's been playing mind games ever since he came in. And that essentially could be for one of two things. Either somebody gets thirsty enough to come up and get JJ McCarthy, and he comes and trades with Arizona, and he comes away with Marvin Harrison Jr., Monique Neighbors, or whatever he wants at that 5th pick. Or in turn, he gets what he wants. Somebody moves up, grabs them, or grabs their pick, and they move down and they get multiple picks and they can do different things. But in a sense, Harbaugh kind of has been playing like, and has everybody thinking it's going to be offensive line. It's going to be offensive line. I don't know. And because I heard this, I think it was Schefter that said this. He's like, drafting a receiver with the 5th pick wouldn't be a Harbaugh move. And I'm like, but how do we know that? He hasn't been. He hasn't been in the league for years. And I mean, if you look at it, Joe Ortiz, they have selected receivers in the past in the 1st round. So that's where I'm kind of like, I don't know if I believe all that noise when it comes to that stuff.
Too many people are, I think too many people are looking into like a Harbaugh move because of the kind of offenses he's had that have won. It's like, he didn't have the 5th pick when he was in San Francisco. He didn't have a pick that high. There weren't receivers graded that high. Like this is a completely different situation. I don't think this is comparable, especially when you have a GM who just drafted Zay Flowers.
Exactly.
Or was a part of the staff that did that and drafted other 1st-round receivers. So I think people are looking too much into the Harbaugh thinking or what.
And I mean, and honestly, like, and I know that a lot of people are like, well, Jim has the keys to this car and everything. Yeah, but Joe's still going to have a say in this stuff. And you have to remember, Joe's coming from an organization that he was there his whole life. Like he literally uprooted 28 years of his life to LA. He's going to be there as well. And he's going to have a say in a lot of this stuff. And he just seems like a guy who knows what he's doing, who scouted it before. He literally started at the bottom and worked his way up to where he's at now. So, I think I think they're gonna be a tandem when it comes to this. It's not gonna be the Jim Harbaugh show in that sense. I think it's gonna be both of them kind of working hand in hand, because obviously Jim's been in the college game and Joe's been in the NFL these last few years, and now you just put all that together and just work together, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah, exactly. No, for sure.
JS is asking, do you think that they'll sign Justin Simmons after the draft?
Justin Simmons.
You know that boy wants a lot of money, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know. I mean, well, the issue with Justin, it doesn't really matter what he wants, right? It's what he's gonna get.
Exactly.
So I don't see that happening. With Justin Simmons signing.
But could you imagine that? Like you have him and Derwin basically a great safety tandem, and then you have a Lohi kind of coming in and that would allow Justin or Derwin to kind of go more into the box and do more stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah, but I don't see that happening. But I definitely throw a parade if it does. Celebrate if that happens.
I know, for real. They should get excited. If you guys have any other questions, Kris is happy to answer them. Kris, just what's your overall sense of, because I think this is a 2-year project, to be honest. I don't think, like, I know they have not an easy, but like they have, according to NFL.com, they have one of the easiest schedules going into this year, and I think that plays a factor in everything. But what do you make of do you think this is kind of a 2-year project? I mean, because I don't think this team, I think there's a lot more holes on this team than that were left by the previous regime than people care to admit, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, 2-year, 3-year, whatever year you want to put on it, it's for sure a project, right? Like this is, and that's one of the things I asked, Jim in the press conference, right? Like, because he's talking about championships and where this team will be and all that. And it's like, this team was 5-12 last year, right? Like it was 5-12.
They limped to 5-12, Kris.
Yeah,
they could have been,
And the team, and then you're losing so many players from this team last year, right? Like I don't want to go down the list completely, but they're, the team is gutted, right? Like this is a completely different team. And, the people coming in, you got to see them play, right? But they're not the big names, right? They're not the Keenan Allens of the world, even the Mike Williams of the world. So yeah, it's people are, I feel like people are expecting an AFC championship, and maybe that'll happen. But I would for sure say that this is a project, and Jim Harbaugh's kind of acknowledged it a little bit, saying like, I'm excited for the challenge, and wherever he's won everywhere, so maybe he will.
Yeah, no, I completely I completely agree. Real quick, Nick, they have not announced when the schedule's coming out yet. They usually do a whole show on ESPN and on NFL Network. They haven't announced that yet. Kris, this is interesting what Dennis brought up. Over under one player being drafted from Michigan. No, I'll say two. Over or under two players get drafted from Michigan by the Chargers.
Over under two. I'd say under.
Yeah.
Under. Maybe they draft that D tackle, maybe, or none. I would say, Dennis, the better question, and maybe I should do this, or Fernando, one of the reporters should do this, but is to see how many Stanford players he signed as UDFAs. I bet you it was a ton of them, and I bet you it'll be a ton in also with Michigan, like guys they don't draft but undrafted free agents that they want to sign and bring in there. I bet you he'll do a lot of that.
That's what I remember. A lot of people thought when Pete Carroll went to the Seahawks, everybody was like, "Oh, he's going to load up with USC players." Bro, he could have had Taylor Mays, and instead he goes with Earl Thomas, and look what that ended up doing for him. So yeah, I feel like that doesn't really happen as much as what people think. So yeah, I completely would take the under as well.
Don't forget the coach isn't. I mean, it's there's a big group of people making the decision.
Exactly.
And if you go into a room of 25 people that include scouts who have been scouting these players for years, and you go in there and tell them, you want this person, everyone's going to know that you
have a bias.
that you made that decision. And we know people talk, especially when they're frustrated. If you're on a staff that made a pick that looks crazy, people talk, and they want to get that out there, like that this coach came in and did that. I wasn't a part of that. So yeah, that's another reason why that stuff like that doesn't happen.
James is asking, what should the emphasis be on drafting a top tier center for the future with Herbert?
What should the emphasis be? I think it would be a strong emphasis on drafting a center, and well, I think it's just finding the right center, right? Like I don't know if you need to maybe draft a center high or anything like that. But a lot of O-line is about your coach, like your offensive line coach, right? Like, sorry, I'm blanking on his name, but the guy they have in Philly, the offensive line coach in Philly, for example.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, but like if you look at Jordan Mailata, right? They must have got him in the 6th round or 7th round. He's a rugby player, and the coach just said, "I can work with him. I can work."
Jeff Stoutland,
and he said, "I can work with him. I can get him better. I can get him better." And the guy just got $20 million. Jason Kels, he was, I'm from Philly. They were trying to run him out the league, right? Like he wasn't, they didn't like him there, and then
underweight.
Yeah, and then got him to Pro Bowls, right? So as much as I don't know if you need to invest significant draft capital, but I think if your O-line coach likes a player, sees a potential with the player, you have a veteran in there right now in Bozeman who can, mentor people as well. I think that's the way to go. I wouldn't say like invest super, a lot of capital into it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Let's see, any more? Yes. He said, "I think Kris can read the comments." No, I know, but I'm reading it out because people have asked me on.
I can't even read them. Oh, there they are.
Yeah,
I couldn't read that. I didn't even see it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's because so we do this in audio version as well, and a fan was like, "Hey, we can't, like, we don't know the questions." I'm like, "Oh crap! You guys are right. My bad." So I've been trying to read them. Dennis is asking, why so much love for Blake Corum? The dude is 25, small, slow. Give me Jalen Wright as your home run hitter like Gibbs from the Lions.
Oh my God. Why so much love for Corum? I mean, because he scored a bunch of touchdowns. He's tough. He dominated last year. I mean, I do think that speed and agility is fun to watch, and it's good to see with backs, but you also need a guy like Corum to be your bruiser, to run dudes over. And the Chargers kind of already have that in Gus, right? Like you would probably want to pair that with more of an agility guy that you're talking about. But I think the love for Corum is obvious. Now where you pick him is up to those decision makers.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. What's one thing you're kind of looking forward, independently from the Chargers? What's one thing you're looking forward to in the draft?
The draft, I'm really looking forward to what happens with the quarterbacks, really. There's been a lot of smoke about JJ McCarthy, and I'm really honestly interested to see where he goes and what the fit is like, and see where Jaden Daniels and Drake may go, because it's, for a while it was, I think people were discussing at one point Drake going over Caleb, and then that died, and then there was conversation about Drake's for sure too, and now it's Jaden's going too, right? And Drake might fall out, right? So there's just a lot of discussions, and seeing where quarterbacks go is always interesting to me. So I'm excited to see that.
I feel like, except for Caleb, I know Caleb's going to start right away, but the other guys, I feel like they should sit a year and kind of develop those guys. I just think that's kind of where we're headed right now with that. But I mean, I know it's not for long is what the NFL stands for, but yeah, that's just going to be interesting. Kris, obviously you were in Atlanta. First cousins, as Shannon Sharp calls him, he's now the quarterback over there. What do you think about Atlanta with Kirk Cousins? Do you think they're ready to fly, or because last year they kind of counted on their defense? We all know Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts were really misused and mishandled. But what do you make of? Because I think Raheem Morris is a good. I think he now has, finally, after so many years, has a second chance. And I actually think that he could do some good down there in Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, with Atlanta, it's tough because they're kind of a team that feels like they are somewhere in the middle. Like if Atlanta won 11 games and hosted a playoff game and lost in the first or the second round, that would be kind of like what I expected based on how the team is constructed, right? But that'll be a win for them because they haven't done that in super long. So I would say that's where I see them going, like, hosting a playoff game. I don't know if there are, I wouldn't consider them like a contender.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of talent over there.
Who are you more interested in seeing this year, CJ Stroud or Jordan Love?
If I had to choose, I'd probably say CJ because they have Diggs now and they got Joe Mixon. And
what do you think about all that?
I mean, it's exciting. Like if you're a Houston fan, man, I'm super excited. Like if I saw my team got all those, like, it's always exciting when your team is actively trying to maximize your quarterback, especially one on a rookie deal, because we've seen, Lamar Jackson's entire rookie deal, he didn't really have a top guy. I don't know. You might say he still doesn't have a top guy, right? Like, so it's exciting when because all the top quarterbacks in the league essentially have except for Mahomes, have like a 1A receiver. And I guess you could call Kels that, right? But like you have a guy who's a top target, and you need that, to win. And so they have Diggs, and then they have a bunch of guys who could maybe also consider, high-end twos. So yeah, the Texans are exciting, man.
Real quick, Kris, again, thank you so much for jumping on. I'll let you go in just 2 seconds. Nick is asking, does the team feed reporters for the draft? If so, what are the Chargers serving? I'm not sure what they're serving. Maybe Kris knows, but all I know is that a couple of years ago, they really hooked it up. We got Raising Cane's on Thursday. Friday, we got, I think it was like barbecue and then In-N-Out for dinner. And then that Saturday was a lot of food, but it was like a food coma. But I've never
even been for the draft, so I don't know. I haven't got anything yet, but
Jorge said that they're gonna serve frijoles. Are you okay with that, Kris?
I don't know if I ever had those before.
You've never had frijoles?
Maybe I have. I don't know. What even is that?
Beans.
Oh yeah.
Or like refried beans, like Mexican beans.
Yeah. I've had those.
So have you found a good taco shop in LA?
There's a truck right across the street from me, actually.
Really?
Often. Taco spot. I haven't found like a. Oh, there was some place I went to in Manhattan Beach or Hermosa Beach, one of them beaches that was pretty good. And then there's kind of like this restaurant place. It's called it's what is it called? Soul or something? Soul Cantina in Playa Vista.
Have you had a California burrito yet?
Breakfast burrito.
No, California burrito. Do you know what that is?
No, what is that?
carne asada, French fries, cheese, and guac.
Yeah, no, thank you.
That doesn't sound good to you?
That sounds like it might be good, but also like a heart attack.
That's like you can go to Orange
Theory.
Yeah, Orange Theory after that, but
you're feeling terrible.
Nah, you'd love it. You'd love a California burrito. See, look, Jorge knows. Look at him. Damn, Fernando ain't playing. Real quick, Kris, before I get you out of here, what do you think Tom Telesco's first draft pick will be?
Tom Telesco's first draft pick. What do they pick? 13 or something? What's their pick?
Yeah. They keep on saying that they might jump up and try and grab a quarterback.
Not doing that. I don't think.
Yeah. I think they go offensive line.
Yeah, I think their pick will be very muted.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't expect fireworks.
I'm sure there's going to be fireworks from Raider fans pissed off about whatever the pick is gonna piss them off. But
yeah,
guys, before I let him go, you guys need to catch this guy. Look at him over here. Look at this stud right here. Look at my guy right there.
Form there, sounding really amped up
What a
voluntary
stud.
workouts.
Make sure you guys check out Kris Rhim. Follow him on Twitter at Kris Rhim1. Kris, thank you so much for jumping on. Thank you so much for hanging out. So awesome to have you, and see you on Thursday for Joe Ortiz's press conference.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank y'all. See y'all soon.
Thank you, man. We'll have you back during training camp if you grace us with your presence.
Anytime, man. Come on now.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
All right, y'all.
All right, guys. I'll still be on here for a little bit. Jorge, what do you think? Do you think your boy shows up right now, or what's up? Because I know I don't know. I was kind of wondering if he's gonna show up. But guys, what do you guys have any other questions? Let us know. Let us know if you guys have any other questions. But Jorge, I think.
Oh! I just wish Alberto was in person so I can do a little flip the bird action, little thunder action. Oh, what? Let's go.
Jorge said his dance senses were tingling.
Oh, well, they must be on fire now, dude, because let me tell you, I just got back. I am here now. It is great to be with you all. Jorge, my boy, how you doing? Because let me tell you something. I've had a great day, Frau. Little. The champions! Got a little Champions League action. Saw Barcelona crumble. It's always a great day when that happens.
He said, nah, don't even mention Gilberto's name. This is your time.
Hey, that's big facts. Just like Bruce Buffer says, it's time!
Dan, you missed a good conversation with Kris Rhim. Again, thank you so much to Kris for jumping on with us. It was good to talk to him. Dan, right off the bat, are you ready for this?
Are you ready?
Patrick Mahomes came out and he was Time Magazine's Player of the Year, and he said,
Player of the Year.
Patrick Mahomes says he will retire as soon as he feels like football is taken away from his family.
Do you see how soft we're getting, dude? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
That wasn't what I wanted to show you, though. This is what I want to show you. Did you see this?
When they start...
Yeah, I am. We all are. Yeah, and I'm coaching for him. Yeah. We're in Huntington Beach at the waterfront RV park. This is
Jorge, you're wild.
Quantum,
I saw that
motor
too.
coach. Kind of inspired by
way.
Growing up watching the Rockford Files. Got my DVDs. I've been watch that. Nothing will make you feel more like a dad.
My man is still watching
when you
DVDs.
Figure out how to dispose of the waste. Felt like a real dad. Now, Giro, I said this is a Class C here. Greg Roman.
How's it going, everybody?
You want to see Giros?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, come check it. Check
Bro,
this
watch
rig
this.
out.
His RV's way better than
It's like with the
Harbaugh's.
rock bands.
My
Go around
God.
that right here.
I mean, for one person, this beats any hotel room in America. You know what I
Took
mean?
the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Living the RV life, Giro.
Yes, sir.
I asked my brother-in-law, John Fearborn, to drive this coach out, which he did. I'll tell you, some of the nights it was raining, is there a better night's
No.
sleep that you could get
No.
in an RV when it's
When
raining?
the rain's hitting the top of it, no way.
just
No.
put you right to sleep. I can speak. This has been a help to winning, to
This
working.
last part is gonna
No question.
keep you up.
Winning in football, is there anything like it?
It's cured more ills than penicillin.
There you go.
That is a known scientific fact.
You and I have won some games in California, so it'd be good to keep that tradition going, huh?
Did that hype you up?
Dude, could you imagine being in an RV park and you're living there or whatever it is or staying there? You just look across the way and you're like, holy shit, it's Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh, dude.
Well,
dude,
and
I want to know how big Roman's RV is. That looked like that looked better than a hotel room, dude.
That thing was humongous.
Yeah.
But the craziest part is that like some lady actually was talking. She's like, "Oh, you like the Chargers?" And he's like, "I coach them actually." So
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Dennis, I assume to your question, why does Roman's RV is so much nicer than Jim's? This is just me. Obviously, I'm not there. I don't think the Chargers provided those things. I assume right there it's just up to what they want. And Greg Roman apparently is style and profiling for Al. Woo, 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 woo.
Dude, but it's so funny to see them like interacting like that and talking and everything.
Dude, they look like they're in the frat, dude, in college. Like,
and Harbaugh's been hyped up about that for a while. So Dennis, hey, you know what, Dennis, you should have mentioned this when Kris was on here. I've tried to get him down here multiple times, and he big times me. He loves it up there, up in LA. He loves it.
LA.
There. I'm definitely trying to get him down here. But Jorge, you're right. That dude is he's just that dude.
Let me tell you something. So. You know it's gonna be good if the man still watches DVDs. I just hope he's upgraded watching film to, getting it online and everything else. We don't need the old cassette tapes or the VHS, but I saw him he might have had some dip on him at the combine. I think it's gonna be absolutely insane, dude.
Harbaugh and Roman's chemistry over Staley and Moore's chemistry.
Dude, I'm still convinced, Kellen Moore, for all the Wonder Kid, adjectives thrown his way, last year showed me nothing, dude. I was not a fan of his.
I'm interested to see what he's gonna do in Philly. I'm not a
I don't know, dude, because I think he's a lot different quarterback than Dak, Jalen Hurts. And they have some weapons and everything else, but I think the Chargers had weapons that he just didn't know how to manage. And then obviously some of them got hurt and stuff like that. But I thought based off the first game where he was running the football, I think they had like 20 touches for like 200 yards or something like that. I thought that was going to be who we were getting. Then like it quickly transpired, and now we can't run the football. People are hurt and all this other stuff. So
I've been waiting for this for a week. Are you ready to get hyped?
No, I said, are you ready?
Hold on. Watch this.
This is going to be an O-line centric building. When it comes to our strength program, it's built around the O-line. Everybody else fall in line. And so
let's go, baby. Let's go.
Okay. And that will be shown in how we approach everything, from how we stretch to how we lift, to how we run the ball, to how we protect. This is a place where O-linemen are going to want to come and play because it's an O-line centric space where we're going to raise these guys up and make them feel great about what they do and what they have to offer, and not push them to the side and make them they are at the forefront of our thinking. This is going to be an O-line centric.
That's
who is this guy?
That's Andy Bischoff. He's the he is the tight ends coach and the run game coordinator.
Dude, I might as well should have been like the dad in South Park in the room where he's like, I won't get into details. We've all seen the meme. But, I just am so excited. And this is why I keep telling people, I'm not worried. You know what I mean? I'm not worried at all because we have Jim Harbaugh. He's going to figure it out and everything else. Because let's look at the past few years. One of the biggest issues offensively the last couple of years was offensive line. Like, let's be real about that. They couldn't run the football effectively. They couldn't protect Herbert. We saw Herbert get dinged up and injured 2 times a year.
Jorge, it was because what he said about the offensive line. I knew that was going to get Dan hyped.
But then you hire Jim Harbaugh, and what's his specialty? Offensive line, dude. Like this. There's only one way to go. We're going up. on a Tuesday. Oh, and today is Tuesday, actually. Yeah, there you go. I actually messed that up.
Tuesday.
No. We're not doing sketch stuff here. But going back, Jorge asked me who they're taking in the first round. I'll tell you this. I said this last time with Jeff. I think if a generational receiver that they like is there between Marvin Harrison Jr. or I guess Malik Neighbors is the other hyped one, I think they're going to take a receiver. I think if someone's there that they're not in love with, they're going to trade back. So that's the way I'm kind of breaking it up. Because I was talking about this the other day. I was like, Joe Alt is supposedly a left tackle and everything else. I'm not a huge fan of converting players from left to right or this or that, just because those guys have been playing those positions for so many years that they get it into their head that that's all they are. And the change itself is not easy. So if they're gonna draft a right tackle, I'd rather have them draft a right tackle. I love that, Dennis.
I think all of our 9 picks will be O linemen in the draft: center, right guard, left guard, right tackle.
What?
That's actually pretty
Do you understand when they play every team in another city or even in LA? I'm hoping they're gonna have to call the police. This offensive line just gets unleashed, dude. The juice won't stop this.
That's what you want me to bring the video back from yesterday?
That was hilarious. If you haven't seen that, go check that out.
That's what Hayden Hurst told us. He's like, we want people to be like, crap, we have to play those guys. Like, that's what kind of mentality they want around when teams notice that they're on the schedule. He's like, that's the way we were in Baltimore. You grind it out in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
The other teams are exhausted and we're still going at 100%. He said that's the philosophy from the Harbaughs. That's where games are won and lost. They're won and lost in the fourth quarter, and they want to be. And that's what Brent Herbert then said. See, that's the thing. Who was it? Jorge said Bischoff was saying all the right things, but honestly, I just want to see it. And I agree with that. But I think in the past we've gotten mixed messages of the way they want to do things, and I think here you're hearing the same message from every coach, just in a different way they're delivering it. They're all saying basically the same message. They want to run the football, they want to protect Herbert, and they want to play hard-nosed defense, obviously have a good offensive line. So that's honestly going to be an interesting part about that. They would just run 9 linemen, Herbert, and a running back.
Ass sniffing.
You know what it would be, right? It's like in The Water Boy. Go on now.
He's going to show him the natty. Natty.
Dan, this was passing game coordinator Marcus Brady from San Diego talking about somebody that you love near and dear.
He's been great in the meeting room. I mean, it's like going to Spanish class right now, right? They're all just learning new terminology, but I mean, he's locked in. Something he doesn't know, he's asking questions. For today, we had Shane had a chance to get him on the board to see where they were, because we just been kind of throwing a lot. I mean, we call it just fire hose. We're just throwing the entire offense at him, seeing what sticks, and then going back and reviewing everything. But getting on the board today with these guys, calling out plays, letting them draw it up, their reads. I mean, he's on it. They're all 3 quarterbacks in the room. They're on it right now.
And Chase Daniel responded to this and goes, Justin Herbert is one of the smartest quarterbacks I've backed up, and I've been with almost 25% of the league.
Yeah, I don't care what that, guy's assessment is. I still remember the guy was the backup, comes in for 3 plays, incomplete passes for 3 downs, and then all of a sudden he's at NFL Network. How that works, I have no idea, but I mean, whatever. Son of Odin, dude. The son of Odin. It just doesn't get any better than this, Frau. You know what I mean? Like, I breathe fresh air. August is around the corner. You know what I mean? It is, I don't think people are ready. And I'm hoping Jim Harbaugh is really going to dethrone those morons over there in Kansas City. Because if you've noticed, the AFC West the past few years, it's been just shifts, right? The Chargers dominated in the 2000s. The Broncos dominated in like the 2010s. And now it's been the Chiefs in, kind of the late 2010s, early 2020s. So I'm hoping now Harbaugh's going to drop that hammer. Yeah, no mercy, bro. You know how I roll. There's no mercy. No one's safe. Nick, that's funny. Over under 1.5 wide receivers drafted for LA Chargers. That should be what's it called?
That's a Stephen A. Smith stat.
drafting. Yeah,
He said he played one game in high school basketball and that he averaged 1.5 points.
Do you see his athleticism in his boxing video? He looked terrible, dude. Guy's so stiff. I'm surprised he played basketball. What do I think? What?
How many?
I think they'll probably get 2.
I think I'll say 2.
Yeah, I'd say 2 because I mean, offensively, that's what you got to fill out. Right. And supposedly, and that's the other thing, right? If supposedly this draft is deep with receivers, I'm sure even the undrafted guys might be able to do something or whatever. I'd like to see.
And this is the year where some undrafted guys could end up making the team because they're still not all the way. I mean, and that's the way that's how I've always understood that the game works. 3rd, 4th, I'll say 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th round, and the undrafted guys are the ones that really make up the totality of your team. That's what makes the base of your team is those kinds of guys. The guys that, because I mean, you need good backups just in case if injuries happen. We've seen
100%,
obviously,
and you need people producing.
Has been top heavy AF, I guess.
Well, that's my thing, right?
I completely
especially now in a transition for the roster. It's going to be more beneficial for them to go with younger guys, getting them reps than, older vets that they're not sold on or whatever else. Like the young guys.
Oh, hey, is that the guy that got arrested? Tavondre Sweat. I think that was the guy that got a DUI or something.
Yeah, they need some more heft. Yeah. But that's all I'm saying. Like, right now in this transition period, it's going to benefit them more to give young guys reps. That way they can mold them in whatever image they are, and they're not like a vet coming from somewhere else and they already have a way of doing things and stuff like that might not fit.
Another thing is too, I think the whole choir boy thing is kind of thrown out of the window. I don't think it's gonna be.
You mean we're not just drafting from Notre Dame anymore?
Last year, I actually thought that they were gonna draft from Notre Dame when it came to Michael Mayer. I actually thought that would have been a solid pickup for them, especially.
Especially well.
And then you saw once they fired Josh McDaniels, Michael Mayer started playing a lot better, and he started, he started getting in there, and then obviously he can block, so he could do a lot of different things. Oh, Dennis, that's foul, bro. I'm not gonna put that up. That's foul. By the way,
I appreciate it though.
I got no. Notre Dame, don't do this to me. Hey, and you know what? I met Joe Alt. I was able to. I wrote a story on him. Really good kid. Really good guy. His dad played in the league as well, so very interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, Dan, that switch from left to right.
I know. That's why I'd be surprised, and that's what Chris and I were talking about. Everybody's so fixated on Jim saying offensive line, that people are thinking, oh, they're going to go offensive line regardless. Like, it's not the freaking what's the draft day, and he has a paper in his pants that says offensive
tackle
line,
no matter what.
Yeah, no matter what. So, but Dan, I wanted to show you Mark Schlereth had this to say about your team.
Austin Eckler gone.
See ya.
Mike Williams gone. Keenan Allen.
That's big. Yeah.
And here he was just the other day. We talked about on this podcast. He was going on and on about how much he loves offensive line play. To me, the message being sent here is simple. Justin Herbert, I'll get you some offensive linemen.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to go make the skill position guys better than they really are.
I think the other thing about that is let me help you schematically with the passing game. We're going to run the ball. Don't be mad if I hand it off 12 times in a row. What he had that one game, he had 18 handoffs in a row or something like that. Like, don't be mad because it's going to help you. And our play action game and our quick game is going to be so freaking good because we're going to be so dominant. I really think the days of Chargers charging, like you could just count on the Chargers shitting in their helmets. I think those days are going to be gone.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh is not going to put up with that. And my thing about that, right, is I've talked about that before on other shows also, where it's like if you can run the football effectively, that opens up so much more in your offense than reverse wise. And on top of that, like you just being so physical. Like we mentioned earlier, they're going to be exhausted come the fourth quarter, and you're going to be able to ice them out. Like I'm just excited, honestly. Like I've always said that the Chargers, all we've experienced since the firing of Marty Schottenheimer was penance for firing him after 14-2. I hope this is our come up. This is our glow up season or whatever the kids call it. I'm just hoping this time around they finally got it right.
Marty Schottenheimer.
Oh yeah.
Of the touches to 31 the next year, neither.
Well, let's dive a little deeper into that, okay?
Yeah, like
okay.
You went from Marty.
We've had time to process it and think about certain things.
You went from Marty to North Turner.
But remember, who's the offense coordinator? You guys remember at that time? Cameron.
Oh, don't say that.
Did he not get right after he lost?
He came and be my head coach, and that bitch is terrible. I couldn't even. I wouldn't listen. That was on fire. I wouldn't piss on it. That was terrible, LT.
Cam's a good dude, man.
You always got to couch it when somebody do bad at their job. That they're great human. They love their kids. You got to couch that shit, bro.
Exactly. Yeah.
So in my mind, did we just throw the game for a head coaching job?
Ooh.
Did we just?
So you say let's finish now. If we lose now, I get to go take my interviews. I get to go take a job.
You play football a certain way. If you're up by 11, or if you're up in the second half, 32, what we doing?
Tote that thing.
We toting that thing.
Power. You know what? When it comes to
basically what LT was talking about is that in the first half, and I've kind of said this before, in the first half of that playoff game against the Patriots, Jorge, what he's basically saying is that in the first half of that game, they went LT run heavy and they were dominating the Patriots. In the second half, they came out and they threw with Phillip Rivers, and that's where it all just completely went. And I'm not saying it's on Phillip, it's just the play. And this is the thing that the NFL has always argued. Why are coordinators allowed to get jobs? Because before, remember, they could get they could basically get jobs and stuff during the playoff run. And teams have kind of wanted the whole don't let them talk to them until the playoffs are done or until they're eliminated. So I kind of think where LT was going with that was he kind of throwing that game so that he could get a head coaching job? Like, that's a little shady. Yeah, and he's not the first Chargers player that I've heard from that team mention that before. So there's been a lot of friction with Cameron and Charger players because they thought that game was just really they thought it was really sus, as they say. But yeah, first half LT dominated them. Second half they come out throwing with Phillip, and you're like, what are you doing? Like,
that's why it's idiotic. Like,
and then obviously, sorry, real quick, obviously Marty got the blame because they're like, well, Marty went away from everything that they were doing. Well, it's not just Marty. I mean, I understand a lot of people wanted to blame Marty because of his past and everything, but it wasn't just Marty that did that. And they actually name dropped Lorenzo Neal in there. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But just real quick, touch on that. And
yeah, the other thing I wanted to say was, it's idiotic. Like, how are you supposed to focus on, essentially, arguably, the biggest game of your career, the biggest game of your life, whatever else, in a playoff game in the NFL? Because obviously, clearly, not a lot of people get that opportunity. While you're taking interviews, while you're having to sell yourself to other teams, like that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like, how does that happen? Your focus is taken away from game planning and everything else for the playoff game, and now it's, oh shoot, I need to try and get this job. I want to be a head coach. How can I get this job? What can I do and stuff like that? And when it comes to this, that's football 101. I don't understand what he was doing either, but you should have. You always take a knee after an interception. You don't try and run it back or anything stupid like that.
And that was the thing too, is that I remember Troy Brown was just such a good. He was a guy that was the kind of Swiss Army knife for the Patriots. He would play all different. I'm not gonna. I don't know where he lives.
Oh my god!
But that was the thing back then with Cameron couldn't be any worse than Staley. Good God. Time to get the pitchforks. Jorge, you're moving forward. I just wanted to touch on that.
We're in a new era. Hey, who's got it better than us? Freaking nobody, dude. I'm so
I saw the video, and Dan, I know, wanted to touch on it, so that's why I brought it to his attention, because obviously I know he likes that stuff. Dan, real quick. Well, no, I'll touch on that later. Just what's your kind of thought process with the draft being a week away?
You know how it is. You know what I think. It's a roulette. It's a horseshoe. I don't know. I don't care. I want to get to August. I want to see what's on the field. That's my thing. I hate this time frame for the NFL because it's all about hyping up these kids who we don't know if they're going to be good or not. It's all about hyping up the fit. The fit. What are they wearing to the draft? Yeah, dude, I don't care. Let's get on the field, dude. Let's get on. Jorge, no. No. Do you see what's on that side in Kansas City, dude? I honestly, Kansas City fans, there's no way they don't get annoyed with Mahomes' family plus.
I don't think Jorge could leave you, Dan. I think that would I don't think he'd be able to leave you.
I would be so annoyed if I was a Chiefs fan out there in Missouri. But anyway,
they might not be in Missouri much longer.
Dude, that would make me laugh so much. Why? See, that would make more sense to me, Nick. The draft before free agency. That way you draft whoever you want.
I think does it too.
You draft whoever you want, and then you fill out the rest of the team with the draft. And oh my God, the San Diego Chiefs. No guy over my dead body if those fools were in my backyard.
I don't think you'd go for them if they moved to San Diego.
I don't think I'd be able to, dude. I don't know. I don't think I'd be able to. That would be tough. You know what I mean? Because I mean, and honestly, I still love the Chargers more than anything because of, you remember growing up with Grandpa and everything else, watching the games and all that stuff. That's why even though I hate the bastards half the time because they've screwed me, I still love them just because I have that memory and everything else. So I wouldn't root for them, but just saying, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. But yeah, when it comes to the draft round, you know me. Don't know. I want to move on. Let's get to August. I want to see what's on the field. I like I said, I'm not a huge fan of this time. What do you think about it's next week, right? The draft?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting. So what are your thoughts on it?
Do you remember this video?
Oh, that's what you're doing now. Oh yeah, slinging it. Dude, I would suicide out myself. That way I don't get hit by that thing. That would hurt like a mother.
What if somebody threw the ball at Herbert?
I jump in front of it. I'm blocking it. Ain't no way that's gonna happen.
You would jump right in front of him, would you?
That's funny, Mark Matlock. I wouldn't even eat Hunt's ketchup. That's pretty funny. It's all Heinz over here. Yeah, until we play Pittsburgh, then that's the biggest thing right there. But yeah.
You know, I kind of feel like this is how those guys are going to run the Chargers are going to run their offensive line, to be honest. This is how they're going to do it.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my. Oh. Congratulations, Mr. Sims. You're the fattest boy in camp. All right, let's get
That's such a funny movie, dude. That's funny.
I was watching it the other way on my way to
Philly or no
Philly.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh, Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kris and I were kind of talking about it, and I thought I think what they're gonna end up doing is they're just gonna do something. I think Harbaugh right now is playing a little bit of like, hey, let me tell you something. Like, yeah, JJ McCarthy, this, that. Like, I really think that he's kind of just playing with everybody and kind of waiting to see what he can pull. But I just think that right now they're in control of whatever they want to do. And I know that's funny or that's different or whatever. But I feel like they're in control. Like, they can do anything that they want. They can literally wait and North Korean games. I think they have a chance to really do something interesting with this pick, because before I think you kind of had an inkling of where the Chargers would go and everything. Yeah, that was the kid. For a lot of those kids went to the Mighty Ducks, to the original movie, Jorge. But because that was Goldberg. The other kid was the one with the knuckle puck, and then even Cartman was there. He's the little white boy. Those three guys were in that movie. But I just think that when it comes to this draft, it's very important for these guys because you basically have to hit with a lot of your picks, especially because you are depleted when it comes to this team. You are starting, in a sense, over. I mean, you got rid of Keenan Allen, you got rid of Mike Williams. You need receivers. You still need running backs. I mean, and that's the thing I think with Harbaugh, and Kris spoke about this. He's like, usually with a lot of these positions, coaching is what matters, and coaching is what gets you ahead, and coaching is what helps you. And I really think that that's pretty evident when it comes to these guys. I think running backs, offensive linemen, and what was the other position? I think those are going to be guys that are going to need to be coached up, but I feel like you can get those guys later in the draft, and you can, I mean, look at who's the kid from the Kansas City, Pacheco. Pacheco's a 7th round draft pick, and like, look what he's turned into for Kansas City. And why is that? Because Kansas City has a dominant offensive line. Yeah. So I think that's kind of the model that the Chargers need to follow, is that they don't have to, like, I do think that you need to get a receiver within the first 3 rounds, obviously. Like, hell, you might even need 2 in the first 4 rounds or 5. But and this is a deep receiving group, but they do need receiver help. Because I just don't know. I mean, are you going to want Tyler Boyd, or like, he's older? Maybe he's the guy that you bring in after. I understand that a lot of people are like, oh, well, it's Josh Palmer's season, and you know what? I actually think that Quentin Johnston's going to be okay. I just think he needs the correct coaching. I still think that Kellen Moore came in and played him in a role that was the Mike Williams role, because Mike Williams got injured, and I just felt like he didn't fit that role. I think that the Chargers were not good last year in adjusting to injuries and maybe changing the offense to fit not just him, but like the whole offense in general. I mean, Keenan balled, but it's like it was a struggle and to find yards anywhere else. So I feel like that was a little bit rough as well. But Jorge, some people say it. I'm not saying that you say it. I just think some people say it. But I think Josh is a serviceable receiver. The only thing is that he can't stay healthy. He hasn't played a 17-game season yet. So it's just little things here and there, but I'm just interested to see what Harbaugh and Ortiz do. And that's another thing that we were talking about, Dan, Kris, and I, is that we were saying that when it comes to the Chargers team, everybody thinks, oh, it's Harbaugh that has the keys and he's good to go. No, Joe Ortiz is riding shotgun. Like, Joe has done his thing in Baltimore. He worked his way up in the Baltimore Ravens organization. And I really think that he has done a lot of good stuff over there. And I really think that he has a pulse on what they can do in the draft, and he has a pulse on a lot of things. That's why I say, a lot of people say, oh, it's guaranteed that it's going to be an offensive lineman. I don't know. And that's kind of my thing, that I think they could really go any different route with that 5th pick. I think they're going to have a chance to do a lot of different things. But again, if they trade out, then I really think that the Chargers might be able to get an offensive lineman, might be able to do some other stuff. So yeah, I just think that it's going to be really interesting to see what they decide to do, because we've never seen anything like these guys, like this, or like Jim Harbaugh. I mean, we saw him when he was with the 49ers, but you have to remember there was tension when it came to him and Trent Baalke. Now it's just him by himself.
Good.
No tension. And they look like they have very good chemistry. I mean, obviously it's only been 3 months. And like Kris said, yes, you're in the honeymoon phase right now. But I think this is completely different than anything we've seen in the past when it comes to the head coaches with the Chargers.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm just gonna keep it short. I can't wait to see it. I'm tired of talking about it. I want to see him on the damn field with a whistle, getting these guys going and everything else. I'm ready to go, dude. I think it's gonna be a good year, especially with the schedule that they got and everything else. I think it's gonna be a good year. I think they're gonna sneak into the wild card.
Well, friend of the show, Field Yates, and Peter Schrager did a mock draft on their pod, I guess. And this is what they came up with. And Dan, I'll be honest, Peter Schrager is usually the one that hits the nail on the head when it comes to the draft. And I think he's usually very spot on when it comes to what they're doing.
Oh, we get I was about to say MJF. I'm thinking about wrestling.
So he has Caleb Williams 1, Jaden Daniels 2, Drake May 3, JJ McCarthy 4, Marvin Harrison Jr. falling to the Chargers. I just really think New York, and look, if you're Arizona, you still come away with a really good receiver, one of these 3 receivers, and you get Romeo Odunze. I really think that Malik, wow. And then they have Derek Carr with Malik Neighbors. If you're Malik Neighbors, that really what? Well, never mind.
Yeah, because Derek Carr's ass. He's ass, dude. I've seen it up close and personal.
Oh, I wasn't gonna go that far, but I guess
it doesn't matter. That's what I'm here for.
But yeah, I really think, and then obviously Dallas Turner. Where do they have the kid from UCLA going?
Oh, the Lofautu or whatever.
Oh, do they have him dropping? Oh no, they have him going 11th. Wow, yeah, I think that kid's really good, to be honest. I think he's. I was talking to somebody that was at the SDSU game, and I understand it was SDSU, but they were like, dude, this kid was dominating that game. Like SDSU could not contain him, and SDSU usually has an okay offensive line. Wow, he has the Rams going receiver at 19. That would be interesting, especially because you don't know where what's his name is right now with Cooper Kupp. It was kind of up and down last year when it came to the injury.
He's been since the Super Bowl. He's like checked out, dude.
Well,
He's just like,
no, not checked out.
That.
It's the injury that kind of affects him. But there was another one that I want. Oh, how many quarterbacks does he have? Michael Penix 13 to the Raiders. Dan,
don't worry me. I'm not worried.
Because you saw him already against Jim.
Oh yeah, Jimmy's gonna know. And Minter, what are you talking about? And Minter, they're gonna know what to do. I'm not worried about that at all.
And then they have the Chiefs going with Adonai Mitchell, the receiver out of Texas. I think he's really fast. You'd have to have better corners, Dan, because he's fast. Hollywood Brown's fast. The only thing is, I think Hollywood Brown has a catching problem as well.
He doesn't worry me either. I'm not worried.
Yeah, Jorge, Dan did say it for me.
I am not worried at all. It's like the game tomorrow. The game tomorrow, 3-3 going to the Etihad. I am not nervous, dude.
100%, Fernando. We have a real head coach now. These tight games are going to be totally in our favor. Yeah,
good.
I mean, like I said, it's going to be a 2-year project. It's definitely going to be different, but yeah, no, I mean, the draft is going to be interesting. What you usually only watch the first round, right?
Yeah, if that. Because remember, sometimes I have workouts or whatever at that time now.
Oh,
so true. I'll watch like maybe the back half. But you know what? I don't even watch it with the Stooges on the networks. I usually watch the McAfee show or somebody who does a live stream for it.
Oh, God. Just wasted 3 hours of our life to say at the end, we can't throw the pitch for whatever reason. There was no reason.
There was no reason.
And they kicked us out for no reason. So everybody, I'm personally going to say, fuck the Mets. Don't ever go to a fucking Mets game again.
What are you doing, dude? Why are you just... The guy's going... I don't know what's going on over there, dude.
It popped up on my... It popped up in my... what's it called? Yeah.
That's hilarious, dude. Ryan, I guess, got booted from throwing out the first pitch.
He got booted from throwing out the first pitch at the Mets game. Probably because of what they did today when they shoved each other.
Why do I think De La Hoya
Did you see
looked
that?
like his dad? No, I haven't seen it, but I'll check it out.
There was another video. Oh, in that video where Ryan shoves it. Oh, let me show it to you. Where Ryan and Devin Haney shove each other.
We're just going everywhere now. You sent me the other one of what they were wearing in their interview, and to say the least, it was
hold on.
interesting.
So in this video, I thought he was Dana White. What's his name? Oscar De La Hoya. He just looks so weird to me. I thought he was Dana White, but look at this.
At the Empire State? This is so stupid. Like,
I was waiting for Ryan to shadow box again.
Shadow box again? Oh my god. So dumb, dude.
But yeah, that was actually no, okay, there's an angle where it looked like he was like he didn't have any hair. So that's the reason why yeah, I don't know. I just yeah. Oh wow. Are you blaming us, Jorge? Ever since that interview he had with you guys, he's been different. We changed him.
Jorge,
Yeah,
you know who that is. That's
you're
it
right.
right there.
Who was it?
Who? That's Stooge. That's scumbag.
Latu has had some serious health issues. Yeah, no, you're right, Dennis. You're right. But I mean, I think he's kind of overcome them, and it was just a freak accident. So, that's another one that I keep on hearing. I don't know if he'd be on this in the second round though, David. I think he might be able to fall to the third or fourth round.
Isn't Muncie? Didn't his dad play in the NFL? That last name sounds familiar.
No, well, no, Chuck Muncie did. He played for the Chargers, but
That's what I thought. Yeah.
But he's talking about Marshawn Lloyd. I think that's who.
He's
yeah,
looking
yeah.
for. Okay. My bad.
No, and the reason why I say that though is because the Chargers did sign Keel McDonald, the USC offensive line or the running backs coach to the Chargers. So now he's the running backs coach. And I asked him at the pro day. I think I might have the video. Is everybody cool with the Devin Haney and all that stuff, or do you guys want more? Because I have more.
Oh my! I think we're good, dude.
Are you sure?
We're good. Yeah, we're good.
So I asked Marshawn Lloyd about possibly playing with his former coach, and he said this is what he said.
How far to go? I know his coaching style. He's a really good coach. I know what he's about. I know what type of scheme and everything he loves. I feel like it only make me a better player, and I feel like that would help a lot.
I want to ask about Lincoln Riley. When you came to USC, did you think you'd be winning natties with that fool instead of the Tostito Bowl or something?
No, it's the Holiday Bowl down here.
Yeah, there you go. More made up things.
Why does he remind me of who is that?
Sabiban.
Oh my God! No, it's the.
I was about to say I saw a video the other day.
He's talking about these guys, the ones from Dragon Ball Z. Hold on,
I didn't know what it was, but I wouldn't have looked it up. Yeah,
this is what he's talking about.
Oh, they look yoked though. Yeah, they were with what's it called? The Majin Buu,
No. Oh God, I can't remember. No, not Majin Buu. Jorge, who were they with? They were with no, it wasn't Cell. I can't remember. Oh God, I can't remember.
All right. Anyway, moving on. Enough with the anime.
It looks like a Navy SEAL. God, you guys are really on one today.
You guys are brutal, dude.
But folks, just to let you guys know, Raditz, yeah, he was with they were with Raditz, Goku's half brother. Kakarot.
There you go. Anime reference of the day. There you go.
But folks, next Thursday, I don't know if Dan and I will do well, this was kind of our preview because we had Kris Rhim on. The thing is that the next kind of days are going to be kind of crazy. Gilbert and I will be in Brooklyn this weekend for
Brooklyn.
The Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia fight. So we will be there. Make sure you guys check all that out. On Friday, we'll be going live to do a preview with our compa Emmanuel Morgan. So make sure you guys check that out. Next week on Monday, make sure you guys don't miss Lunas Live. We're gonna have Tyler Dragon on the show, who works for USA Today. He's an insider. He knows a lot. Hey, he said a lot of things at last year's Super Bowl that ended up coming true. So make sure you guys are tuned into that. He's gonna be interesting to talk to. Like I said, I don't know if we're gonna do a preview yet. I think this was our preview, but next Thursday, guys, make sure you guys hit the notification button as soon as the Chargers make that draft pick. Well, a couple of minutes or maybe an hour later, whatever. Gilbert, Dan, and I will have your instant reaction. We'll jump on. We'll talk about it for about 30-35 minutes. And Dan and I
chat.
Yeah. Then after that, Dan and I, later after the draft is over, the first round, after we've talked to Jim Harbaugh and Joe Ortiz, Dan and I will jump on and have our thoughts on what happened, what Joe and Jim say. So make sure. Why Jorge? Why you don't want to wait till Thursday? You want us to jump on and do something before or what? You tell us. But yeah, we'll jump on twice that day. We'll go live. We'll answer any of your guys' questions. We'll discuss the pick for about 30 minutes. I know 30 minutes with Gilbert, Dan, and I. It's not really 30 minutes. It turns into almost an hour, but because Gilbert obviously has other stuff, and who knows, maybe the Chargers trade back up into the draft. You never know. We'll be quick with it, and then and obviously we will keep you guys notified though. But that's our plan. And then next Friday, I'll still be at the facility. So maybe once rounds 2 and 3 are up, Dan and I will jump on. We'll discuss what happened, and then and we'll wrap everything up next Saturday as well, the whole draft, and talk about grades and all that other stuff. So make sure you guys are tuned in. Anybody have any final thoughts before we head out? Again, thank you guys so much. Thank you to Kris Rhim for jumping on. Great discussion. Whoever didn't watch that, make sure you guys go do that. Okay. Jorge, we got to take care of you, man. So obviously, we got to know if
it's your world. We just live in it.
Yeah, exactly. If something doesn't fit with you, I know what Jorge is excited about next week. Though is when that glass breaks. That's always what excites him. And look at that,
my guy. Appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you.
But yeah, make sure you guys are tuned in next week. We have a lot of exciting stuff coming up. So make sure you guys are tuned in next week, because it's going to be a wild week. Make sure you guys are tuned into this weekend, though, because Gilbert and I will be in Brooklyn. We got some really good stuff. We got some really good stuff at UFC 300. Obviously, we got I thought that was funny as hell, Dana White's comments on the
Bellator.
Yeah. When he was no. When we asked him about, oh, hey, like you obviously what happened with the main event, how he was all excited about the main event and everything.
Yeah.
I was laughing at his response and kind of what he had to say about that. But you guys know we're gonna try and get some good content. So make sure you guys are tuned in. Make sure you guys hit that notification button for when we go live. Sometimes we honestly go live at random times. So and obviously I've taken up an hour of your guys' time, and what is it? What are we at now? An hour
22. Dennis, don't worry. It's a new era, brother. We're gonna be okay. Don't you worry.
Fucking life out of everybody tonight. I was like, everybody was the next 2 fights. Everybody was just sitting there like dead. Like it was like this adrenaline dump. It was incredible. It's like people always ask me what I do. I sell holy shit moments for a living, right? That was the ultimate holy shit moment of all time. If you were at home, if you were in a bar, or if you were here live tonight, holy shit than that.
Oh, Jorge. Good luck with your chemistry homework.
Dennis, appreciate you, my guy.
Yeah.
Be a compa, tell a compa. We could not do this without you guys. We freaking love you guys. Keep getting in this chat. Keep giving us your comments, anything you want to see and stuff like that.
And make sure you guys tell your compas. Tell them, hey, come over here, join this show again. Thank you guys so much. We've had obviously Reedy, we've had Jeff coming off of the owners meetings. He was tired. He jumped in, and we just had a whole bunch of fun. And then now we've had Kris. So you guys never know who's gonna stop by. Make sure you guys are tuned in. And again, thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget, next week, even more fun. So make sure you guys are tuned in. The draft is almost here, folks. Weirdo time is almost done. Yeah, we had Haley on as well. Awesome. Haley was awesome. We love Haley. So yeah, make sure you guys are tuned in, because we got a lot of fun stuff planned. So thank you guys again. Have a good rest of your week. And don't forget to hit that notification button so that you guys are alerted. But yeah, thank you guys, and have a good one. We are out. Dan, take us away.
Be a compa, tell a compa.